When our clients come to us for the first time, they've typically had some kind of capital event. They've sold a house, they've sold a business, they've had some inheritance, and they've received a reasonably large lump sum of money on a one-off basis. And now this kind of capital event may happen again for them, it may not happen again for them. But what this means is their number one driver hasn't been about how much money can they make, it's been about protecting that lump sum of cash first. And that's why they've chosen to invest in social and supported housing with us. Some examples of clients like this: Catherine sold her family home that was inheritance. It was really important to her that she didn't lose that money as she was unable to work. She's invested that into 2 houses that she now owns. She's receiving income from, but she knows because she owns the houses, she's not going to lose that money. Another good example of this is Paul. Paul sold his business, has been extremely successful, and it's really important for Paul and his family that they don't lose the money that he's made by building this great business over several years that he's put so much work into. He's done a great job, he's sold it, big chunk of money. It's really important that he doesn't lose it. Again, that's why he's chosen to invest in social and supported housing with us. If you're interested to know about how much income you might be able to make from investing in supported housing, if you have a look in the description, there'll be a link down there. We've created a calculator just for you, so you can have a look and play around with it to understand how much money you might be able to make if this is done correctly for you. So whilst we know safety and security is important for our clients that invest with us, how do we actually ensure that? The first thing that we do is we ensure full property ownership. So when these guys and you have bought property from us, you own the property itself. No matter what happens, you are the owner of the bricks and mortar, you own the asset, lock, stock and barrel. That is as safe can be. Once we've made sure that the capital is protected through property ownership and security, we then look on to how we can make sure that you receive a predictable income from that capital that's there. So if we look at Catherine, for example, or Paul as well, what we've done is we've made sure that their properties have followed this process. Firstly, we make sure that the local authority is happy for their properties to be used as supported housing. Secondly, we make sure that the local authority is happy with the provider that's going to be delivering the support for supported housing. And thirdly, we make sure that the local authority has agreed the rent that's going to be paid for Catherine and Paul's properties for their supported housing investments. This makes sure that the setup is correct to ensure their income is predictable. Now, because the government has a requirement and an obligation to fund the housing and support of vulnerable people in our country, as long as we follow this setup, we can make sure that that income is predictable. The next point is we make sure that the income is inflation proof, because everyone knows that one of the biggest killers of our capital out there is inflation. So not only do we ensure that the properties are owned in their name to make it safe, we make sure that the income goes up every single year. The leases that are entered into on these properties are inflation-linked leases. That means that each year the value of the rent that is charged for those properties will go up in line with inflation every single year without fail. And when you buy these properties, you can be certain that's going to happen every single year in a nice, steady uptick. For people like Paul, who have spent their whole life working away really hard to build a business, it's important that when he's had that capital event, when he's reinvested his money into here, that he's not just buying himself another job. So we set these investments up in as hands-free a manner as we can. Now, I can't pretend that supported housing is hands-free, because it's not. We have to do a lot of work, a lot of heavy lifting, and there's a lot of moving parts to make it so that Paul and Catherine don't have to do anything by the time they've got their investments. What we do is we make sure that their properties are leased on a fully repairing and insuring basis, so that the housing providers that look after their properties assume all of the landlord responsibilities. This is a key nuance, and it's a really good structure that makes sure that your investments are as hands-free as they can be. The underlying point that makes all of these investments tick is that they deliver a positive social impact. Again, I'll use Catherine and Paul as an example. Both of those made it extremely clear that it was important to them that their investments would deliver a positive social impact, that people who were vulnerable, not in as good a position as them, had a chance for safety, security and independence. Both of those made that very clear at the start. That was the reason they invested in this rather than another investment that didn't look after vulnerable people. Now, if you're interested in how you can protect your capital, have a predictable income and deliver a positive, hands-free social impact at the same time, have a look at the calculator we've created below, input your investment amount and see how much income you could be making when you invest with us.